Hi, welcome back everybody. Welcome back to the Reconnection space, that place where we take time to look at reconnection with ourselves, with our relationships, with the world around us and with our universe. And you know I've been out and about collecting guests and asking people to come on here and share their reconnection moment, that moment in their life when they really felt a shift or a change or something happened and it changed their perspective. And today I have yet another fabulous guest. So today I have the lovely Ellie Ashton. Hey Ellie.
Hi Ellie, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Now we are doing this over record, so there is a little bit of a delay. You'd think she was somewhere glamorous, but I'm told she's not. But we can pretend that she's somewhere glamorous and far away, and that's why there's a delay, because she's kind of dressed for it as well, you know, with her gorgeous, beautiful blue one. That's it, yeah. It's another one of those hot days. So, you know, forgive us. The summer is, I think, taking its toll on everybody. We don't like to complain about it, but it's just, it is a bit, isn't it? It's just feeling a bit like another day of this. Lovely. That's great. Keep smiling. Good. So Ellie and I met through networking. So for those of you who are in business or starting in business, networking is really key for you to make connections, not just from a business perspective, but from a relationship perspective, to have people around you that support you and share your values. And that's certainly somebody that Ellie has been for me, and that's how we've met and we've become friends. But today, Ellie is going to share with us a little bit about herself and about that moment. So Ellie, tell everybody who you are and what you're about.
Okay, so I'm Ellie Ashton, Ellie to my friends, and now actually to most of my clients as well. I am a family lawyer. So I did a lot of years in the city, going back from when I started my training, worked in central London in a very high pressured environment, loved it, but it took its toll.
Yeah.
So I'm a mum of 2 adult kids. And when my daughter decided that she was getting married and would be starting a family, I really had to sort of evaluate a few things in my life, whether I wanted to stay doing what I liked doing, whether I want to make some changes. And I had a bit of a lost period, I think, really, where I was really trying to work out, what do I want? What do I want now? Do I want to be the career person? Do I want to be the mum, the nan? What do I want to do? And it was a very confusing time. Absolutely loved what I was doing in between. I had a network marketing business, which I had and I loved. And I still do to a certain extent. I don't do it, I'm not as active as I used to be, but I still do that. But I've having had some time out, it's given me an opportunity to really look again at what I'm doing and what I want to do in my life. And I've ended up back doing the family law stuff that I love so much.
Oh, wow. So I've kind of seen you as you've gone through that journey, because I met you just before that transition period started. And it's what's interesting there is that you had a transition about being a nana. You know, so many of us talk about, you know,
yes.
I had a child later in life. I had grown-up children. I went on to have a youngster again, and that really makes you reevaluate and think. And for you, one of the pivotal moments was that next step. Very jealous, by the way, of you know, your children having children.
Yeah, that's it. Because you don't, you know, as you get older, you perhaps look at things a little bit differently. And I still love my career. I still love doing law and everything else. But the stress and the pressure was no longer worth the trade-off. And suddenly I'm imagining my life 5 years down the line with a grandson that I never see because he's in bed by the time I get home from work. And I could see there was some scope to do something different. But I didn't think for a moment that I could do family law on a part-time basis. So for me, it was kind of, okay, get out of law, don't do it anymore. And I did really sort of have a block in my own way at that stage. I cannot do family law because to me, family law meant stress, long hours, killing myself and what for. So it was really, in my particular case, it wasn't about falling out of love with law, it was falling out of love with what that meant.
Yes.
And the two, it's very easy to confuse the two. And so I just thought, right, that's it. I need out, and do something else. And I don't regret that decision. I probably needed the time out.
That space.
To make me now really sort of go, hey, this is what I should have been doing all along. But I just needed to do it on my terms rather than on somebody else's terms. So it was a discovery period.
It was a discovery. It was a reconnection moment. That's what
Absolutely,
it was. A discovery period that led to a reconnection moment.
Yeah.
Now that reconnection moment has led you to back into law, which is fabulous, and back into setting up your own practice, you know, and you're quite passionate about helping a certain group of individuals. So it's family law, which again is quite emotive. You know, lots of stresses and strains there, people, you know, undertaking lots of transition. But tell us a little bit about who you particularly want to support, and something that you've set up that will help people along that way.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, I should explain, I'm self-employed as a family lawyer because that is my experience, my passion, my background. And I have a long-term vision of being able to, as well as my usual regular divorce and finance clients and children matters, as much as I love all of that, and that will always underpin everything else.
Yeah.
I've also really noticed a gap for there being qualified advice for people who maybe can't afford to go and get proper advice. There's a huge rise of unqualified advisors, McKenzie Friends, lots of other people, and some of those are absolutely fabulous. Some I'm finding are straying into giving advice when they're not supposed to do that, they're not qualified to do it. And so I could see that there needs to be some way that advice can be accessible to people, even if they can't afford the full representation.
Yeah.
Now, I've been quite lucky because in setting up my own practice the way I want to run it, I have been able to affiliate with a company, an excellent law company in Milton Keynes called McIntyre Law. And so my clients are now clients of McIntyre Law. So we've got the whole service. And that facilitates me being able to do what I want to do with my clients, which I wouldn't be able to do if I was employed. It's perhaps a small distinction, but being self-employed means I control who I work for, how much time I can spend on each case. And Rachel McIntyre, who runs McIntyre Law, is very happy to support that with me. So we've really bridged a gap, I think, in our local area, and especially in offering sort of bundled to unbundled services, which is a small amount of time. Someone wants to come in and just pay for an hour. They come in and pay for an hour. They don't have to take me on this massive journey with them that costs them thousands and thousands.
And that's the thing, you know, having gone through the divorce process myself, you know, there's a couple of things that are real, could be showstoppers for people. The first is I don't know what I don't know, so where do I start with this? And the second is, based on that, engaging somebody that wants to support you and doesn't, and then you think suddenly, well, how much will all that cost me? And because you don't know what you don't know, you have no idea in those early days about whether that's something you could do yourself or something you need help with. So having somebody in family law with that refreshing view of, I'm going to support you, and if it's something you can do yourself, I'm going to help you with that, and I just need to do this little bit with you, which is, you know, so it does, because people stay in very difficult relationships for some very transactional reasons, don't they?
Absolutely right. Sometimes somebody feels trapped. They don't leave. I mean, I have a lot of clients that come to me who say, well, you know, I don't know what I can do because I don't have any money. He's the one that earns.
Yeah.
The house is in his name or whatever. Or I have dads who say, well, I can't see the child because she doesn't let me, and I don't have any rights because we're not married. So there's lots of misconceptions. There's a lot of wrong advice out there. And as fantastic as technology is, Google has actually made that worse, because now you get people trying to do their DIY divorces and everything else. And unless your case is really, really simple, there are so many pitfalls you can fall into. So, of course, that's led in turn to the rise of these McKenzie Friends, which are basically unqualified people that advise you, or well, they're not supposed to advise you, they're supposed to help you and support you through your court proceedings. but they're straying into giving advice. And I've seen some Mackenzie friends that are actually drafting official court documents, advising clients on what they need to do. And it's just, the information is wrong. Now there are, as I say, there are good people, there are bad people, exactly the same as there are with solicitors. But what I like is when someone comes into me, they can have the consultation and I say, like, this is what you need. I will be very honest with them. There are some people that I say, do you know, you can't do this yourself. It's too big, it's too complicated. But in that case, if they can't afford a lawyer, at least I can point them somewhere that they can get some help, even if it's not with a full-time lawyer. It's not me sort of spending every minute of every day supporting them. They can dip in and out of my service. And that's something that I just think was missing previously.
So going through that journey of doing family law in the very typical, very corporate manner, very stressful world, taking that time out, having that life transition with your family, realizing that you needed to do more, but actually that you did it you needed to do it in a way I always talk about with purpose and intention, so not just going back to ticking a box of that's how we do things, but striving to do things differently and support people. That was your reconnection moment, I guess.
It absolutely was. And realizing that there is this gap and realizing that I can fill it. Because a lot of it comes from when you're employed by somebody else. It's very difficult for you to put your own requests in. So if I was employed by a firm and then I suddenly asked to take on this high risk new idea, which it is quite a high risk idea, the Law Society have only fairly recently come on board with it. Most firms would at the moment, they'd prefer to have the full representation clients. Most firms would find that easier in terms of their insurance. But that to me is, that's great. I'll always do that. I'll always have my full representation clients. But if I can also do the other bits, that to me is the whole reconnection. Suddenly everything drops into place. I can choose the hours that I work. I can choose the clients that I work with. Although I don't make it a habit, and I don't want to make it a habit to do home visits, there are some clients that simply cannot get out. And if they can't get out, I can do Zoom consultations with them. They can come to my office if they are if there is a suitable local place. On occasion, we can arrange to meet outside of my office. Now, as I say, it's not something that I would regularly do that, because you don't really want to be having your meetings in a Costa coffee bar and discussing what your ex has done to you. There needs to be an element of control. And obviously, if I'm in the office, I can deal with things more efficiently because I've got all the references and everything I need here. But it is that whole kind of, there's a different way of doing this. I don't have to go back to the old, I don't know, the 18-hour days. It's not necessary.
No.
I can offer a fantastic service like this. And I now get out of bed in the morning with spring in my step, ready to go back to law, which the last probably 2 years of my old law career, it was killing off that passion and excitement, because I just think I never had time to finish what I was doing before. I was worrying about what the next thing was. But I don't have that now. I've got the clients that I want to work with, and 9 out of 10 of them are so delighted to be able to run it themselves. They don't need me all the time. They probably only need me for an hour once a month or once every 3 months. It's fine. And I'm happy to support them on that. So
brilliant.
And it means I get to see my grandson more, because
exactly. And that was the end
which is
goal.
The whole point. Yeah.
So thank you so much, Ellie, for giving up your time and telling us about your reconnection moment and your journey through that and where that's brought you. So if you have enjoyed listening to Ellie's story, then why not just watch the video and like the video, but why not click that all important subscribe button? Because the more subscribers we have, the more we're able to do in the Be More world, and the more stories we're able to share. And if you have a story, a reconnection moment that you would love to share, that you think listeners would love to listen to, about a moment in your life where you went through that change and you want to share what that change is, then why not drop us a note at Be More with the direct messaging service that you can do. Have a look at www.bemore.uk and you'll see all of the social media links there that you need. In the meantime, thank you to Ellie once again for giving your time and for sharing that reconnection. I'm going to ask you our final question to close our interview, and that as always is, what does reconnection mean to you?
For me, reconnection means freedom and time. It's all about the choices that the freedom and the time allow you to have.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody. Have a healthy, happy and mindful week.
Thanks. Bye, Ellie.